Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very special New Year's Day edition of Sunday Stuff and Things. Happy New Year's! And on this special Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. We'll talk a little bit about age restrictions. Some people were asking me some questions about stuff I do in some of my videos, so I'll explain a little bit about that. We'll talk a bit about the holidays. How were your holidays? How were my holidays? Your Christmas, your New Year's? And then we have lots of catching up to do in hashtag #AskStuffandThings because I hadn't been able to answer any questions for 2 weeks. So we have almost 4 pages of your comments, questions, and feedback in hashtag #AskStuffandThings. So let's get into it. Okay, what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays in the new year? Well, did you watch the Esoterica Tilbury First Impressions video? I posted that last week. Yes, everything's getting very hazy because of the holidays and I pre-recorded a lot of stuff. But Esoterica Tilbury First Impressions video, you should check that out if you haven't watched it yet because the full review will be coming up not this coming week, but the week after. This coming week, we will have the Endless Stationery Products review. What is it called? The Endless Explorer notebook / journal that has kind of a Midori Traveler's notebook appeal to it. Their creative block tear-off pad, there's like a cotton wallet that goes into the journal. There's another hardbound journal that they sent me. Really cool products, so be sure to check that video out this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the Esoterica Tilbury full review. And then, of course, into the new year, I think it's gonna be almost a year since we started the Elden Ring series on Stuff and Things Plays. We're still going with that. It's still going because the game is ridiculously huge. It's also ridiculously good. So check that out as well. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Okay, so I've been getting some questions sometimes when I'm posting any pipe blend reviews or first impressions videos. People have been asking me, why don't you actually light the pipe anymore? You don't show that anymore. The reason for that is because age restrictions keep coming on to my videos. And basically, I don't know, it's been months now that I've started cutting out any actual lighting going on because every week or so I get a notification from YouTube saying that this video from the past has been age restricted. And here's the thing in the video that made it age restricted. And they'll show me a timestamp and I click on the timestamp and it is me doing that. They don't like that. And so it makes the video get age restricted, and that's why I don't do it in the videos anymore. You might say, well, it's a pipe blend video, so what does it matter if it's age restricted? Because if it is age restricted, nobody sees it. Nobody ever sees it. It's because if you're not signed into your account, you don't get to see age restricted videos. They don't push them. Like they don't put them in front of people to watch them because they're age restricted. It just makes it so you probably won't see the video if it gets age restricted. So that's why I don't do that. That's why I don't show that in the videos anymore. And hopefully you'll understand you have to make some sort of allowances for the craziness of the algorithm and how YouTube does things. It's annoying, but that's just the way it is. All right, as I'm recording this video right now, it is Friday before New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve is Saturday, New Year's Day is Sunday as you're watching this video, but I'm recording it on Friday because I am going to be leaving in a few hours to go pick up Diamond from the airport in Seattle. It's gonna be a rather late evening. I don't think she's getting in until after 11, and then by the time we get back to Bellingham, it'll probably be after 2 in the morning. But I'm super excited that she's coming back, but I'm recording this now because I wanna have the weekend free to do things with her. We're gonna go out New Year's Eve. We have some plans with some friends, kind of a cool, what would they call it? Not fancy dress. In the UK, when people say fancy dress, they mean costumes. But when I say fancy dress, I mean literally putting on fancy clothes, like suit and tie, tuxedo kind of thing. Not that I have a tuxedo, but maybe I'll wear a bow tie and I'll wear a suit. And Diamond's gonna wear a fancy dress. And so it's just going to be a fun opportunity to go out and do something kind of classy for New Year's Eve. I'm curious to know what your plans are. I typically don't go downtown to bars on New Year's Eve. Any of the big drinking days like St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, days like that, I usually avoid downtown because it's just such a shit show down there. But this seems like it'll be a little more refined and a little classier. So I'm looking forward to doing that with her, and since I haven't seen her in 2 weeks as well. Christmas itself, I posted the video last Sunday on Christmas that I had recorded several days before Christmas about how we had gotten pounded by snow and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to see family for Christmas. I was able to go to my mom's and see my mom and siblings, which is nice. My little brother was able to come up with his wife and child. She's like 3.5, and she's actually conversational now. She's been talking like crazy forever, but she would sort of just parrot everything you said. But now she actually engages with you, and it's amazing how quickly that changes. Anyway, delightful hanging out with my little niece and everything. I was able to see the family. Didn't do the Christmas Eve thing with my dad's side of the family, but we're hopefully going to make that up soon. So I was able to see family, had a good time. What did you do? I know that so many people, talking about in the US at least, throughout the Midwest and the Northeast and even down into the South, there was crazy weather going on during the Christmas holiday, and so many people got stranded in airports. Some people died actually in places like Buffalo because of the snow and the cold. And I'm just curious if you guys want to leave in the comments below, were you able to have a nice, good family Christmas, a normal Christmas, or did you get caught in some of this crazy weather that was going on? Luckily, the worst part of the weather hit us several days before Christmas. So by Christmas time, we had like a 30-degree or almost 40-degree temperature swing, where on, okay, what day was it? I think on Friday, it got down to like 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees, but then by Friday it was still in the 20s and there was still snow on the ground. And then by Saturday it was almost 60 degrees and raining like crazy. So the snow did not stick around for long. We did have some flooding after that because there was so much snow and so much rain and it got so warm so quickly. But yeah, we had over a 30-degree temperature swing in a 24-hour period. And now it's been kind of balmy for this time of year. High 40s, a lot of rain, but luckily no more snow. So anyway, curious to know how you all fared during the holidays. Let me know in the comments below. All right, but now we have to get into hashtag #AskStuffandThings because I have 2 weeks worth of questions and comments to make up for. So let's get into it now. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, you can tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can ask me questions there and go to the front of the line, or you can leave comments, questions, and feedback on my YouTube videos. I read through every single comment. I don't answer every single one, I just don't have time, but I do read them all and I try to pick out good questions and feedback from there as well. So first, via Patreon, we have a question from Corbin Bordner. Hey Bradley, why don't you hang a 4th picture to fill in the gap on your set wall? Something I've noticed and pondered for a while. Well, let's see, where am I in frame here? The way I usually frame myself is so I'm in front of that. So if I had something there, you wouldn't really see it anyway. And that's kind of how I figure out where to sit in the set. I may put something there. I did actually frame a picture of my dearly departed great-great-grandfather, the hipster. And I have that ready, but then I remembered the whole thing. Remember when her eyes were not occluded? The camera kept focusing on her instead of on me because it looks for eyes. If I had grandfather behind me, that might be the case too, but if I'm standing here or sitting here, maybe it wouldn't be a problem, but I'll consider it. Interesting question, Corbin Bordner. Next, via YouTube, we have a super thanks from Scottum. Scottum says, and thank you Scottum for the super thanks, Scottum says, Bradley, for the sake of content, do you cellar much tea? Generally seems like you try fresh tins, but I often wonder when you aren't reviewing, do you cellar Elizabethan or other blends for future enjoyment? Short answer, no, not really. I don't have the room for that. And even if I did, if I had an actual cellar somewhere, I don't know that I would put a lot of tins away. maybe it's something I would do, but no, typically I just have a few tins of the things that I'm either going to be reviewing or kind of the old standbys like Elizabethan around. I do have several tins of Elizabethan from like 2016 maybe put away. I've got some Esoterica blends put away, but yeah, they're just in a little box and I don't have much room for that kind of thing. Next, from Glenn Hancock. What journal do you actually carry with you every day? Just wondering, out of the ones you've been looking at, which one you use on a daily basis. Well, Glenn, lately I've been carrying this, the Endless Explorer journal, because I was doing a review of this, and that's typically what I do. If I'm not reviewing something, I was using the Roterfaden Taschenbegleiter. That was kind of my everyday journal. But then since I started doing this review, I've been using this. I may switch to this as my everyday thing because, I don't know, I like having all the functionality of the Roterfaden and I like how much I can fit in it. And this one I've just got right now, a little preview for the Endless Stationery review that I'll be doing. Right now I've just got the cotton wallet with various things inside and then just one insert right now. And that's kind of doing me pretty well for the most part. There are occasions where I want like the sketch pad and stuff that I have in the Roterfaden, but for the most part, just having one insert and then I've got some pencils and some ink cartridges and other stuff in that cotton wallet, it's probably good enough. So yeah, I think I'll hold on to this and use this for the foreseeable future. I like it a lot. Check out that review coming up. Next, this is some feedback from, okay, let's see. I guess this is feedback from 2 weeks ago, the Sunday Stuff and Things, where I was talking about technology being annoying. So, from 52 dislikes, at least you can't fire yourself for what the equipment does. Try calling your producer to tell him that 2 hours of the 4-hour interview have no audio. Jeez, face blue wide, what? Face blue wide eyes? Oh, that must have been an emoji. That emoji. It happens. So yeah, I was talking about how technology is great, but then for no reason whatsoever, suddenly it will just stop working. We have some feedback from Jason Hunt, who says, things like the Fusion breakthrough, we're discussing the Fusion, I can't remember the name of the organization in California that had the Fusion breakthrough, but I read that news story. Things like the Fusion breakthrough are the breakpoints that get in the major science fiction universes, that you get in major science fiction universes that open up new worlds and technological advancements. So in that regard, I am very much curious about this development. But as you said, it will likely be a decade or more minimum before we see a true major breakthrough. As for the curse of tech, I grew up just a little before you in that area, so I do feel the, quote, straddling two worlds thing quite a lot. As I get older, I've begun to appreciate that quality of product matters more than bells and or whistles, so the shift towards smaller, more plastic, constantly needed updates, patches is really a bothersome thing for me. Planned obsolescence is really something I hate for the whole forced upgrade business model. My TV is smart, but it is now more than 5 years old, and I was informed recently by the TV itself that the model I have will soon no longer be supported by software updates. Infuriating. Yeah, and I don't like that carousel either of constant upgrades. I've tried to avoid that. I've had my TV for, I don't know, 6-7 years now. Still works, still seems fine. I have no plans on upgrading until it actually dies. So if I can get 10 years out of a major piece of consumer electronics, I think that's pretty good. Next, from Uranium Rock. I bought a watch and started carrying a notebook and a book to cut down on defaulting to mindlessly scrolling on my phone. It works pretty good. I can see what time it is without getting sucked into phone alerts, and I can distract myself during downtime with my book. And yes, that's a very good point. I kind of fell into that trap too, where, you know, years ago I would always have a book with me, so if I were working during my lunch breaks, I would sit in my vehicle and I would have a pipe and read a book. And then I got to the point where I was just looking at my phone, either watching something on my phone, watching YouTube, or whatever. And then I started forcing myself to bring a book with me now. And yes, also the watch thing is nice because you just look at your wrists. That's what time it is, instead of looking at your phone and saying, oh, I need to respond to this text or something. So yeah, good points there. Next, we have some feedback from the Timeless Style Navy Peacoat video. If you haven't watched that, definitely check that out as well. That posted last week, I think. This is from Hayden Hero. I have a Navy issue pea coat from the maritime college I went to, and it's the warmest and most comfortable winter coat. Heavy enough to keep you warm and insulated, but not too heavy that you can barely move in it. I could wear a t-shirt or sweater mod winter? I don't know what you mean, Hayden Hero, or sweater mod winter underneath and still be warm and either. Fantastic coat that's worth the money. Yeah, I think something got kind of screwed up there, but I think your main sentiments have come through quite well. Pea coats are great. Next, from Blackadder 665. Serious question about the pea coat. Is scratchiness an issue? I've read a lot of reviews for modern versions, and this came up a lot, and prevented me from buying one because I experienced many a scratchiness with other woolen products, which is a shame because I totally agree with you in terms of classiness and style. On my pea coat, which was made in 1966, scratchiness is not a problem because it's made of kersey wool. A lot of modern pea coats are made of Melton wool, and it'd be hard without showing you a swatch of fabric from each, but kersey wool is a denser and softer wool, in my opinion. At least the top nap on it is a lot softer, so it is not even remotely scratchy. It has more of a felt kind of texture. The Melton wool can be a little scratchy. It has more like fiber on the top. It can pill up a little bit more, and it can feel a little scratchy. But I mean, typically when you're wearing a coat, you're wearing something underneath. Like I can't imagine somebody shirtless putting on a pea coat and being like, there we go, going out. So I don't think it's that much of an issue, maybe around the neck if you pop the collar or anything, but I don't currently have a Melton wool pea coat, but I have had Melton wool products, and in outerwear, I don't think it's that much of an issue. Next, we have some feedback from last week's Christmas video. Basically, it was just lots of really nice holiday wishes from all sorts of really nice and generous people, so thank you for that. It was really, really nice. We did have one Grinch. This is from Ray Chandler, who said, "For goodness sake, buck up. A score of people have frozen to death from this storm, and others have lost their home. How horrid to have to walk for coffee." Okay, Ray. So in the future, if I ever complain about anything, and I wasn't even really complaining about the snow, I was just kind of enjoying myself, actually. I was just hoping that it wouldn't stay for very long. I will check with you and make sure that nobody else in the world has ever had it worse than I do in that particular moment. Thank you. Next, we have Esoterica Tilbury First Impressions feedback. This is from Ankle Spanker. I have most Esoterica blends. If you like a flavor punch, it can be underwhelming. If you like searching for subtleties, this may be your thing. Not even close to being worth the asking price on secondary markets, but a good buy if you get it at MSRP. And yes, that's something I think I pointed out in the First Impressions video. You don't want to pay the kind of scalping costs for Esoterica blends. They're great, but they're not, there's the law of diminishing returns where if you're paying $30 for a tin of Esoterica, it's not going to be, $15 better than a GLP blend or something like that. They're great, and the prices are really reasonable if you just find them, MSRP, but you don't have to pay, 2, 3, 4 times the price or the retail price. Just try to find a tin. If you absolutely have to try one, I guess maybe you could spend out on one, but yeah, not really worth going crazy on the scalped or, secondhand market. Next, from Tom Brown, they say, "You must have friends in high places to score any of the Esoterica blends." And yes, I do. I've gotten some tins on my own back in the day when Essing pipes used to ship to Washington. I would put in the email alerts to try to get tins when they got shipments in. Ever since, I can't really order online anymore. It's just been the generosity of amazing viewers out there who have allowed me to sample some of these blends. 20 years ago, they were plentiful and not widely known. Tilbury is the name of Edwin Arlington Robinson. Okay. Tilbury is the name Edwin Arlington Robinson chose for the town where so many of his poems are set. Interesting. Good intro to Robinson's Tilbury town inhabitants is Mr. Flood's Party. Actually, Robinson and a pipe together on a solitary winter's night sounds pretty inviting. Cool, thanks Tom, that's a cool little nugget. And then Coconut Scott says, "I am coming to grips with the fact that I will never get to try any Esoterica blends. sucks. Yeah, never say never. You may be able to try. If you live in a place where you can get blends shipped to you, just sign up for email alerts and then check your email. And you may get lucky and be able to grab a tin or a bag or something. But gang, we have pretty much caught up with the feedback. I couldn't include as much as I normally would because, like I said, we had 2 weeks worth of feedback and there was a lot to go through. But I tried to pick out some of the representative questions and some of the good feedback and everything. But thank you. Please keep that coming on the videos and through Twitter and through Patreon. It is much appreciated. But now, gang, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. There's also a super thanks button you can hit if you want to do that directly. But it really matters and it is much appreciated. It helps pay for the fancy camera that is filming this video now, the lights that are shining upon me, blends for review, other products that I can show you on the channel, make videos for. And so every week we like to shout out those who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Glenn, Jason Buckner, Gloria Phillips, MDoftheNorth, David Gaudreau, Nick Papageorgio, John Tice, and Finn O'Hagan. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100. I'm still flabbergasted by that. So thank you so much, it's amazing. People like Bob Magee and Ashes of the Phoenix. And of course, we will never forget our Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. All right, gang, that is it for our New Year's episode. I hope you all had wonderful holidays. I hope you have a wonderful New Year and New Year's Day. There's going to be lots of good stuff coming up on the channel. I'm excited for this year, and hopefully you will stick around and check it out. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday, Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.